The night is ending soon. Lupin says he's been looking forward to this moment. He wanted you to come here and see for yourself where it all started. He was so little when your mother and kin came here to put an end to his mother just because she was different, a hunter. That night, the hunter became the hunted, trapped with nowhere to run. He says your mother showed no mercy, only vengeance. He can see that you're not like your mother. There's something different about you. Maybe you would have made a better decision than she did, and let them be. They orphaned him, left him alone, an outcast and a freak. Lupin says he's been reliving the moment every night since then. He says your mother and her disciples started something that couldn't be undone. They created the monster he would become. He knew his time would come, and he was patient. So, when he got news about your birth, he knew how to get revenge that would last. That's why he spared you that night he raised the village when you were a child. He wanted you to suffer for life, like he had. He marked you for life, so he'd recognize you when you met again, and you'd eventually remember where you came from. His hunger grew insatiable over the years to come. He tried, but being vegetarian wasn't in his nature, and he couldn't go hungry. But he's never taken a life for the sake of appetite. It's always been about survival, and that our true self is being who we are. A deep look into nature will make you understand everything better, and that natural selection eliminates, and the strongest survive. Fate is for those too weak to determine their own destiny, and now the time has come for you to accept yours. can't wait to get out, can you?
Loma utulu ba yugo.
Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet.
Bilia an tufto huaye.
He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Wiz in the northwest.
Junto con tu pon yevun goya.
He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Wiz.
Ye mufurbo bum.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Wiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next.
Ye mufurbo bum. To huaye.
Out of Date says that Wiz is worried now that the Northwest World Eater is stepping up its activity.
Valu alu hero.
He explains that Wiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the World Eater, but needs help to get it done.
Yuba doluwawa. Ewe bobuye.
Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Tolidrea ya mauloa.
He's happy to help.
Yevovo lon lan wofo.
Says you're welcome back. You don't get to wander below ground like this every day. Let's see. Who can stand against that? Nice shot. Super effective. Great shot. That might come in handy. Grab, pull, come on. Nighttime is the better time for lots of things. Could be a monster napping here at any time of day. There they are. You fixed those flame flies fast. A bric-brac that's still standing. Now, that's a find. That seems like the cranks need to be unturned in the right order if you want to crack the strong box open. Just a few moves left. Make them count. The cranks need to be unturned in the right order. Bang Shelter 11G. Too bad these aren't proof against the end of the world. A breeze would be... Let's see. This is Burblebottom, resident... Happy to finally get to meet you. He seemed... Claims to have been born swimming, but he must flap-flop clear of it during these dark days. It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against? It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away. Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty. Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it. Better to ride a wave than let the perfect one pass you by. Seems to him that there's always another wave coming along. Can't imagine how wonderful it's going to be to surf on gooless goo. The world is going to live. Can't thank you enough for fighting against the goo. Happy you ride alongside the Myriad. They bring a real shine to everything they work with. Says they shine so bright, they glitter on the waves. But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right? He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there. Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills. He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison. Claims the surf is poison now. Anything that drinks it becomes poison too, including the Tree of Life. Gil says he feels like a fish out of water because of this, but understands he needs to make a change. He wonders if you know a safe spot, somewhere the water is still clear and unblackened. He says he's ready to get his fingers fished for this. He wants you to lead him to the edge of a place like that, where the surf is see-through, or at least, you know, drinkable. Claims to be moved as deeply as a riptide wave by the way you care.
Getting brighter every time.
Oh, no. Go look at yourself in a mirror.
Can't. Everyone you looked in cracked.
That was only one time.
I have a shop full of shattered mirrors that says you're wrong.
Flash and slash. Carving it up. How amazing is it to be surrounded by life like this? Locked solid. Now you can focus. Personal. Yuck. Biohazard. Sickening. At various stages of life, we all become memories for others, and just seeing someone acts as a catalyst for the past to seep in again. Memory distortions are troubling. Illusions your mind creates to avoid the memories of being bullied as a kidling. However, there's no doubt that what you remember makes your future different. So, you remembered the automaton's power-up feature. That's a boost. That hurt him. That this area still looks like this is kind of marvelous. Gil clearly has his head above the surface now that his fish is in the water, and asks you to find and free the Peewee Gargantua from the bandits now that you're on a roll, saving surfing creatures. Gil says he feels he owes you something, but understands you have no time to spill as the fate of the world is at stake. But he's found lots of waste when exploring the land in search of clear surf. He's happy to give you the bearings when you have time. He's sure you'll find something of value if you swim that way. Says when the waters got so bad he didn't have any choice, but he waited too late to succeed. Without you, that is. Hears you might be ready to surf out of here on an ark. Not wild like nature, but wild like wild, right? With the surf clearing up now, he's not sure why you'd want an ark at all. Thanks you for trying to get the surf to ungoo, as brutal a job as it can be. Asks who you're thinking of riding out of here with on that snazzy ark.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat.
A conscious choice to be alone means you won't miss anyone.
The thing we're really missing here is someone with compassion. You just seem to have passion.
The world will be a better place.
Well, anyone in...
Figures you know best who you want riding with you. Gil is always ready to help. Has plenty to do, so no worries. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Wiz while you're here. Let's see. Toxanol's mining led to mass deforestation and increased global warming, as nature couldn't absorb the carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions without the trees. These irreversible changes to the climate also contributed to the evolution and modified our genetic code. Wuz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Wiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod?
Malo ang Japan balaga.
Wiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years.
Monoyam.
But Wiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go. They've been here for you since you were a kidling, but when you left, you also chose to distance yourself from everyone that cared for you. Wiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. Ultimately, it's your choice. You were the one to be wronged and have lived with the consequences. He believes in consequence as it's a direct result of action.
Love the glow of the light.
No. Down! Down! Oh.
All the way up. Crank that glow up to 11.
I'll make you glow.
Too late.
Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Maybe that's true for you, but he's not so sure about his own fate. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Wiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths. But there's something else down there too, gnawing at the Tree of Life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxinol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Wiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The thicker the surf became with goo, the more the machinery clogged up and stopped working. Like most things from the bygone. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. This story is about a hero. Ah, that wood scrap seems like it would be perfect for your plans. Plastic scrap like that over there could be useful. Impressed you found that, despite all the goo. This place has held power for a long time. In many ways, it still does. Anything that's been ruined can be fixed, but it took a long time to get this bad. It'll take a long time to clean it up, too. Glad you found that track. There's a lot to learn about this world, both here and beyond. Nice. Some barked wood scrap for you. Ready to roll? The day is calling. An old home. Could be something to it. Oh, there's some blasty plots up ahead. That this area still looks like this is kind of marvelous. Here is the village called Diddlingdoo by those lucky enough to live there. Let's see. Ah, plastic scrap like that always comes in handy. Yes, some e-waste for you. That's a good find. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. Made it count. At least you're not coming out of this empty-handed. So many ways to disappear here. That's shut and good. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's too much distress. Disgusting. Biohazard. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Shield your eyes if the daylight hurts. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too.
Nan uyomcheva Uliana.
He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick.
Kan patudam.
He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact, so it won't leak once you get undersurf.
Ni antumpo nigarapu.
He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out.
Palanarakal iran vanar.
He knows his old friend Choo-Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow.
Gamuga.
He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute.
Ni antumpo nigarapu. Patrina chala.
It's big enough to make waves beneath the surface, and that's a challenge in itself. But it also has a hard shell, so you need to target its head.